Actually, this class is for CS level, but CS 8 students have also joined. I think your class mem have registered. Okay, your SC class. Maybe ma'am has some duty, so she has registered to me. Uh, Anyhow, I'll repeat the concepts of fourth module again because some of the students are asking me that repeat once about the normal forms. No, it was so simple. But okay then, I'll tell you, but listen carefully. If you have any doubts, okay, you just clear your doubts here itself in the session. Okay. You know what is normalization and schema refinement also, and these are the difficulties: update, insert, and delete anomalies. So we can avoid this. Okay, all these anomalies using the processor of normalization, and it consists of some normal forms. Yes. So first normal form, second and third. Today I'll tell you even about the third normal form, and we'll do some example problems on 2NF also. So normalization is the entire only one procedure. Okay, it has only one procedure. The purpose of that normalization is to avoid redundancy. To avoid redundancy. So the normalization procedure, actually, the scientists have divided that procedure into some number of parts. Okay. So those parts, they have named it as the first is first normal form, and the second one is 2NF, 3NF, 4th NF, 5th NF. We have to check each and every normal form for the taken relation. Okay, so ma'am, if we identify, okay, for a particular relation is in 3NF or 4NF, what is the use? You might get it out like this also. So, what is the use means? If it satisfies the highest normal form, that means it has very low redundant data. Suppose it is of it satisfied the fifth normal form also, then we can say that it has no redundant data. Okay, we can tell about the redundancy. Whether the relation has the redundant copies of data or not. So like that, it will help us. So 1NF is nothing but atomic values. Atomic is nothing but only one value. Okay, so that means, see, I have already told you when we discussed about the first module about the types of attributes. Okay, actually there are many types of attributes like uh, derived attribute, key attribute, simple attribute, okay, composite attribute, okay, and also the multi-valued attribute. So what is this multi-valued attribute? Nothing but attribute which consists of more number of values. So that is called as multi-valued attribute. Suppose if I take the student records, maybe 1101. Okay, so here SID is a simple attribute and also the key attribute because it consists of only one value and it is not the derived one. Okay, and it is also a key attribute. Whereas coming to this, suppose assume that the first attribute is email ID. Nowadays, students is having more than one email IDs. So hence I can say that email is a multi-valued attribute. But one student is having more number of emails. That means it is not satisfying the first normal form. We can see if it is not satisfying, then we can also convert this into first normal form. Okay, so that also I have shown the example already in the last class. Suppose see here. For the employee table, phone numbers are of 2 for the record 14 and for the record 12. I can make this table into in 1NF. So by inserting the record 14 by giving only one atomic value of phone number at once while inserting. See here. Yes, it satisfies the 1NF now because all the attributes it consists of only one atomic values. Okay, so this is what 1NF. Whatever the relation they have given in the question. Okay, you just remember this one, this definition. Then coming to the 2NF. See, 2NF formula is, the property is actually, the relation must be in 1NF at first. And then if it satisfies the 1NF, then we should check for all the non-key attributes are functionally dependent on the primary key. So what is the primary key? Nothing but the key attribute. Okay. So that means dependent, fully functionally dependent on the primary key. Suppose SID is a primary key, that means suppose if I take a functional dependence. Okay, for a student, if I define the some functional dependence relations, okay, so just wait. You only tell me whether it satisfies the 2NF or not as per the definition. If I take the student schema, it consists of SID, SName, SH. If we had a functional dependencies, this is the first one, and if I gave like this, this is my table, the records data. So the table is now in 1NF because all the attributes are of atomic values, consists of atomic values. So it's satisfying the first property. Coming to the second property, non-key attributes are fully functionally dependent on the primary key. So the first functional dependency, yes, this is a non-prime and fully functionally dependent on SID. Okay, correct. Coming to the second one, is SID is dependent on SH? Using SH, can we determine SID? Is it true?
No, ma'am.
No. So it's wrong. It does not satisfy the second property. And this one, yes. So in this way, you have to check. See if it is you know about the schema and you know the meaning of each and every attribute. Suppose instead of SID, SNAME, SH, suppose if I take the relation R and the attributes A, B, C, D, like this. I'm erasing the student schema here. Okay. So A, B, C, D. In this, you don't know the meaning of A, B, and C and D. So how do you can identify what is the prime attribute to check this property? Nobody will give you the relation in detail for you to check the normal forms. No, that is for understanding purpose. I gave like that. But if the question is like this and they gave the dependencies like
By closures.
yes.
By closures, we can say that it's a prime or
yes,
primary key
attribute.
or not.
Yes, attribute closures. Using the attribute closure, we can identify the particular attribute is primary or not, so that which one is primary attribute. Okay, as per that we can identify whether each and every relation is satisfying. Okay, each and every functional dependency is satisfying the second normal form or not. Okay, so in that way we can check. Let us go how to check the attribute closures. See, this is a functional dependency because B is a determinant and A is a, sorry, B is dependent and A is a determinant because it is deriving B. So let us go to the concept of functional dependency. See, I have already told you. This is what functional dependency. And this is what theory, what we have discussed about it. Okay, next. And we have to know we can also say that the taken functional dependency or the given functional dependency is trivial or not using the property is y subset or equal to x. In a functional dependency extends to y, if the right side attribute is subset or equal to x, then it is called as trivial functional dependency. If not, then non-trivial functional dependence. This is the example. And these are the examples. See, in these examples, you can say that A is a subset of AB, B is a subset of AB, and AB is equal to AB. Okay, so it's satisfying the trivial functional dependency property. So this will comes under the TFD. and non-trivial. See here, the right-sided one. The right side not see here. The complete right side attributes that should be subset or equal to left side attribute. Okay, if some of the attributes are subset of the left side attribute also, it will not comes under the trivial functional dependency. No, it is subset not equal to x. And this one. So these will comes under the non-trivial functional dependency. Complete right side attribute anta kuda it should be a subset to the left side attribute. So these are the properties. Remember this property here. Actually in 3NF, okay, we can identify whether relation is in 3NF or not using the transitivity property. If A tends to B and B tends to C, then A tends to C always holds. Okay, why I'm saying this? Okay, we'll just discuss after we have finished the discussion about the second normal form. Remember this. And closures. So if this is a relation, then based on the functional dependencies, we can identify the prime attributes and the candidate attributes also. Candidate keys. See, this is the example. The given functional dependencies are of 4 here from the relation. So we'll take at first. See, what are the single attributes in the left hand side? A, D. So first of all, find out the A closure. So A is close to which attribute? That we are going to find out. Okay, so closure. So that symbol is A plus. And within the curly braces, we have to identify the closure attributes to the A. So A tends to B, C. So that means A is close to B, comma C. Okay. A, B, C. So again in this set, B, C is close to this. Close to which one? A, B, C, D, E, and C here. In the next step, I got this. And in the next step, A, B. So A, B, C, D, E, F. And again, this CF will be close to G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. See how I got this is, sorry, closure it is. So this I got it from the functional dependency A tends to BC and ABC. This I got it from the second functional dependency. And here, yes, D tends to F. This I got it from CF tends to G. So in this way, we can identify the closure attribute. So this A, which will derives everything. So I can say it is a, I can put this one in a candidate set actually. Because I don't know, I cannot, at first I cannot say that A is a prime attribute. Maybe D also can derive all the attributes. That we have to check. Excuse me. So D, I'll find out the closure now. So D tends to F. That's it. Is D closest to DF single? So it's not a key attribute. Okay. In this way, you have to just check the closure for each and every functional dependency to the left-hand side attribute. That is enough. Okay, just find out the left-hand side attributes. Don't find out the closure for the right-hand side attributes. No, that is not useful. Anyhow, we know the left side attributes which will derive something. So that means maybe there will be a chance of getting the prime attribute from the functional dependencies of left side attributes. Okay, that is not, I'm not bothering about the closures of the right side attributes. So in this way, I can able to say the which attributes are of primary one and which one are not. See here, we have already found this and this one also. So you know about super key and candidate keys, right? So this is a practice problem. These are the options for this. Here they didn't give an relation. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So relation consisting of all these attributes, and these are the functional dependencies. So we have to just tell which option is false. That means all the options are belongs to the closures of some attributes. So CF closure. That means CF and C again, which has the functional dependency Z, and CFG, okay, and G tends to A, so A is included here, and AF tends to D, fine, and DE tends to F, okay. Let me find out the closure. CF closure ante CF G A and anything else E. So and AF again D. So A, C, D, E, F, G. A, C, D, E, F, G. A, C, D, E, F, G. So this one is correct. So like that we have to find out. Okay, and we have to say which option is false. Here in this question, they have taken the combinations of AB, AF. Okay, that is okay. But again, they took this CF and BZ closures. Actually, they have identified the attribute closures for this CF and BG, but it's not useful because we don't have that CF and BG also at the left hand side. Okay, but as in this question, the options are given like this. You just find out the closures. Okay, anyhow, we have the functional dependencies. So from that, we can derive the closures for anything. Okay, you can derive the closure for any attribute, any combination of the attributes. Okay, but what is the usefulness of finding out the closure for each and every combination of attribute? That you have to check from your side. But it's better if you check the closure for the left hand side attributes. So next is see, we have actually in the second normal form, we have decomposed. See, this is the table, and here in this example, we can decompose this one into two tables. That means here A tends to B and A tends to C, the two functional dependencies. Even after I have decomposed, that means, okay, if I combine these two tables, then again I am getting this, if I combine both the two tables, again I will get the original table. That means in my table, the data will not be get lost. So that means it is lossless decomposition. While decomposing something, we have to remember that it should be lossless. Okay, మీరు decompose చేసినప్పుడు if you miss some attribute, then it won't work. Okay, we'll do the example. I'll give you the example. Now we have to tell about the given relation is in second normal form or not. Okay, we'll solve the problems. Let me stop sharing this. Okay. Mm. Only three functional dependencies I will mention. Okay. The last slide or is. Okay. See, you just check that whether the relation is in 2NF or not. The relation is A, B, C, D, E. And the functional dependencies are BC tends to D, AC tends to BE, and
You're not sharing screen.
oh, sorry. So this is the relation, and these are the functional dependencies. BC tends to D, AC tends to BE, and B tends to E. So tell me now, is it in 2NF or not? Is it in 2NF or not? Just note down the functional dependencies. BC tends to D and AC tends to BE and B tends to E. Only three functional dependencies.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
it is in 2NF.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it satisfying the 1NF? How many of the candidate keys will be for the given functional dependencies? At first, we have to identify the candidate keys. Is BC derives all the attributes?
No, ma'am. You're not sharing your screen again.
So tell me now, is BC derives all the attributes? So among
No,
these
ma'am.
three, which one will be the candidate keys? So this is not BC will not derive anything. And okay, AC. AC?
Yes, ma'am.
AC, yes. Okay. B?
No, ma'am.
No. So you can say that AC will be the candidate key. Okay. So the prime attributes will be AC or AC. Okay. Let it be. So what is the second property then? All the right side attributes. It must be fully functionally dependent on left side attributes. So the definition is Y should be fully functionally dependent on X. All non-key attributes are fully functionally dependent on the primary key. So this is the property. So now tell me whether all the functional dependencies are satisfying this property or not. Just note down these three and you check by your own. Just find out the closures. Take 5 minutes time. At first, we have to identify the candidate case, and among the candidate case, we should tell about what are the prime attributes. Note down this question and do it. Meanwhile, I will upload the notes. So tell me at first, what are the prime attributes and what are the non-prime attributes?
The attributes which are part of the candidate key are prime, ma'am.
So what are the prime attributes then? A, comma,
C.
C. So, okay, these two. And the remaining all of the attributes in the relation, that means D, E are the non-prime attributes, right? So,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. See, AC prime attributes and B, D, E are the non-prime attributes. So, not all the non-prime attributes are fully functionally dependent on the prime attributes. See here, D. Is D is fully functionally dependent on the prime attributes?